What's going on, guys? It's Jay Camaro here with another episode of DaTalk, episode number 3.
Hello, this is Daking. No longer Daking for the Win 97. Just Daking.
And speaking of name changes and such, we're actually only going to be uploading this on my channel, youtube.com/JCamaro. That's just because we uploaded the first one on both of our channels, but we've had a lot of problems transferring the file because it's a very large file when all said and done. And then we also have a new logo and a new intro, which you just saw. So yeah, let's just get to the topics at hand. I think this one is going to be a little bit longer than we usually do. Usually it's about 30 minutes. But the King actually has until 12:30, which is a little less than 50 minutes from now. So let's get to it.
My only note before we begin is if you guys look for my channel, you will not find it because it is gone. We are on the J Camaro channel, the only channel that we will be on, as noted before, but do not look for my channel. You won't find it, so waste your time. Yeah, but that theme song you heard, we got it from machinimasound.com. Wonderful site. It's royalty-free music, so you'll probably hear more of it.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description. And so yeah, you can go check that out. So let's get to the topics. We have a little Google Doc with a bunch of stuff. So we're gonna go and talk about next-gen consoles right now because, of course, that's a very hot topic in the world of gaming. So PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are really the big consoles competing against each other. Of course, there is the Wii U released by Nintendo last year. But in terms of actual hardware and stuff, no, that's a current generation console.
So would you like to talk about the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4?
I will talk about the PlayStation 4 because I hate the Xbox One.
I hate you.
Both hate the Xbox One.
All right, I'll go for the Xbox One. All right. Go.
All right. So the consoles, well, Microsoft's Xbox One was announced on May 21st of last spring. Sony actually unveiled the PlayStation 4 last February, and we both saw them in much larger form at E3 of this year, along with a lot of exclusive games and specs, kind of release dates, and also prices. So the whole problem surrounding Microsoft in the days leading up to E3 was the fact that DRM and used games are going to be all restricted on the Xbox One. You always had to have the Kinect plugged in, and all that stuff is going around. So people were wondering what was Sony going to do when they came out at E3 and announced everything. So at the very end of the conference, Jack Tretton, I think it's Tretton, came out and said that there's going to be no used game restrictions whatsoever on the PlayStation 4. You can trade games with friends just as you do right now. There are actually going to be no online passes anymore, which is great. DRM, it never needs to be connected to the internet to play with disc-based games. And finally, the price was $399, and this is the PlayStation 4 with one DualShock 4 controller and a 500GB hard drive. It does not come with the previously mentioned PlayStation Eye camera that will be an optional accessory available for $59 at launch. And it really caught on with a large fan base. There was huge applause and stuff. And besides the actual system itself, a lot of great exclusives were announced. We got, in terms of launch titles coming from Sony, day one you're going to have access to Killzone Shadowfall, Drive Club, and Knack. Killzone Shadowfall, of course, is, you've heard of the Killzone series on PlayStation 3. One of the best-looking first-person shooters out there besides Battlefield 3. There's a new one coming out day and day with the release of the console. Knack is more of a platformer. It kind of looks a little kiddish, but I'm willing to take a look at it because I am a big fan of platformers and stuff like that. So if it gets pretty good reviews, I may consider picking it up in the weeks and months after the release date. And then finally, Drive Club is their racing game, and it's more focused on a social experience than a simulation experience. Of course, Gran Turismo 6 is coming out for PlayStation 3 this holiday, and this is going to be the PlayStation 4 racing game. But the interesting part is that if you actually become a PlayStation Plus member, which is required for online on the PlayStation 4, you will get a special free edition of the game. So everyone will have at least a little portion to play. Probably it'll be the core game itself completely in full form, and then the extra cars and extra tracks will be available as downloadable content, and if you get all of them, it would probably add up to about $60. So that's kind of how PlayStation 4 came out at E3, and I'm going to turn it over to the King to talk about Xbox One, or as I like to call it, the X-Phone.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to actually, before I go to the Xbox One, I have found, I'll go to the Xbox One here. I was pulling up the list here. There is actually quite many Xbox One games that we see. I have a list here. we're going to see popular titles such as Assassin's Creed 4, Battlefield 4, the new Call of Duty game. There's also the Elder Scrolls Online will be on the Xbox One, also the PlayStation 4. There's going to be Halo, the new Halo game by 343. Also looking at, there's that new, I cannot remember the name of it, if I can find it. There was I'm such bad at this, because I did not want to do this one. Project Spark is the name I was looking for, which looks like a really cool game. You can make your own game, pretty much. It reminds me somewhat of a Minecraft-y style, but more RPG elements of that. There is also going to be on it the new Skylanders Swap Force, also on PlayStation 4. And also another confirmed title would be Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which if you guys like to play Plants vs. Zombies, that will be on the Xbox One. The new Minecraft as well. And if I could, the Final Fantasy games as well. It appears that they have now announced it. I thought at first they had originally announced it just for the PlayStation 4, but it seems the Xbox One will be taking it in as well. And, of course, my big title for, I guess, both these consoles is Star Wars Battlefront. But we'll go more into depth that later. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about the specs for both the PlayStation versus the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One. As Jay Camaro said, the price for the PlayStation 4 is $399. The Xbox One is quite a high $499.
It's really expensive.
Both will have Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray and DVD. My apologies. They're both 8 gigabytes of RAM. A little bit different in the specs, but that's all you guys know. The PlayStation 4 will be running a single-chip Jaguar processor with 8-core. Xbox One will be running their 8-core Microsoft custom CPU. Both will have 500-gigabyte hard drives. The external hard drive on the PlayStation 4 is not announced yet, but will be on the Xbox One with a USB port. Both have cloud storage. You both were able to play as you download the game, which is interesting for those who download games through the stores. Xbox One will have mandatory game installs, whilst the PlayStation 4 will not. There's no required internet connection, but for the Xbox One, yes, but it's only for the first day. There's an update that you'll have to download the day you get your Xbox One. No backwards compatibility yet, possibly in upcoming years.
Oh, one interesting thing that I do want to mention with the PlayStation 4 is that Sony have come out and they've said that they purchased a streaming service called Gaikai, and that what that will be is it'll be a subscription-based service launching somewhere in 2014 that will allow people to wirelessly stream PlayStation 3 games from the cloud to the PlayStation 4 and possibly the Vita. That's kind of the whole backwards compatibility story with the PlayStation 4.
No news from the Xbox One yet. That PlayStation 4 will have a Bluetooth compatibility. Don't know the process of that yet, but you might be able to upload pictures from your phone to your PlayStation 4 possibly. No confirmation on the Xbox One. If I pull this up here, both of them will have an HDMI in and out. That's good for for those HD TVs that you guys have. Obviously USBs. And then if I go right here, the controllers, obviously they have their two different controls. You've probably seen different ones. Here's something interesting. A headset will be included with the PlayStation 4, but not the Xbox One.
That's big.
That's a big thing, especially considering the majority of the headsets out there that you buy them from just the Xbox, right? And the PlayStation to have this coming out with the PlayStation 4 and still be $100 less is huge.
Yeah, there's no cross-game chat on PlayStation 3, so there hasn't been a very big headset community with the entire system whatsoever.
But yes, so there you go. There's those specs for you guys. Obviously, pretty much about the same, but when you look at the graphics between the two of them, from what I've heard, is the PlayStation 4 will be running much higher in quality graphics than the Xbox One.
Oh yeah. Some developers have come out and they've said that the PlayStation 4 could be actually up to 50% more powerful than the Xbox One. Of course, this isn't completely confirmed, and we probably won't see that many differences in terms of third-party games until a little bit later down these console cycles. Don't get us wrong, both systems are extremely powerful, but I think that extra, specialty RAM and extra CPU power that the PlayStation 4 has will definitely come in handy in the twilight years, where developers are trying to get every single last bit of performance out of these systems. And
here's something I saw interesting. Microsoft is not supporting those indie titles. So for those people, you have to buy, it is an extremely a lot of money to buy the game engine to create games for the Xbox One.
$10,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So we'll see a lot more titles on the PlayStation 4 for those indie developers, and of course, who doesn't like a good indie game? That's how Minecraft got started.
Yeah, actually, there's been a lot of companies like PlanetSide 2 has been already confirmed as a free-to-play game for PlayStation 4, and then actually the creators of the DayZ standalone game are actually looking at bringing the DayZ experience over to the PlayStation 4, but not the Xbox One.
Yeah, it's obviously we're going to see many more games on the PlayStation 4, quality games most likely as well, than the Xbox One. Now, we have a question here, where the idea is, what does this mean for PC gamers?
Well, I think that in terms of what PC gamers will be expecting in the next couple of years are really good games meant for high specs. Because I think right now, since consoles have such a high adoption rate, and sure, PC players are very passionate, but there's a lot less of them than console players. So, it's a lot easier to go out and buy a $300 Xbox 360 than build like a $1,000 gaming PC. So I think in terms of PC players, you're going to be seeing a lot better titles that will really be taking full potential of your hardware, because now as these new consoles come out and people are going to be developing Battlefield 4 across the board, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC versions will all be able to compete with each other. Developers will be able to push the PC just further and further than ever. There's actually a game called The Crew made by Ubisoft coming out in 2014.
That was
and
a cool one. Yeah.
It's kind of like a scaled down United States of America that you can access anywhere on the map, and I'm sure that's something that PC players really have not seen, because people just don't want to spend that much money in R&D for a game that'll only be released on PC that only, like 10 million people will be able to play. So I think that really what you can come to expect within the next couple of years is just higher quality games, more games, and just a lot more better graphics and stuff really taking true potential of your graphics cards.
Now, the PC gamers, there will be many games that will be coming. What was I going to say? I totally forgot. No, but the PC games, like those games, a lot of the titles that will be coming out in the the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox will be coming to the PlayStation or the computer. I'm so tired right now. No, but there's something about that. Like, yes, there's a different experience out there. But there's a big thing that I'd like to know that I wish we had more access. This is it. I figured it out. There you go, guys. I just gotta keep talking. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, you can't do much of modding. And I feel like there's certain games out there that if you have a good mod for it, it's a grand old time. Especially, here's my good example. Grand Theft Auto 4. Quality game. It's a great game. Without the mods, it's a great game. But I saw one called the Carmageddon mod. I'm not going to go much into that because I want you guys to check it out. But pretty much all friction from the car and the ground disappears. So good luck. It's so great. It's quality. But like that's what I was saying. So that's a good thing that PC gamers have above the console gamers. And another thing about the PCs is you can always get a new PC, but there's always going to be that console for a couple, 3 or 4 years before a new one comes out.
Yeah, that's kind of the pro with PCs is that, yeah, sure, it's really expensive and they're where we get them, but every few years you can upgrade your graphics card and keep it very current, and you can just keep getting the best experience. But with console players, yeah, these consoles are going to be out for, like, the Xbox 360 launched in 2005, so that was almost 8 years ago. So it's going to be a very different. It's going to be almost the same in the beginning, but as it goes on, I think that PC players are probably going to be taking the forefront of technology in about 5 years or so, because that's kind of what happened with the consoles when they first launched in 2005 and 2006. Most PCs weren't even close to the power of those, but now look at PCs nowadays. They can be running Battlefield 3 at like 120 frames per second, and here's consoles running it at 30 with only 24 players total. So I think you're probably going to see that again, but not for at least 3 or 4 years.
And it's also one thing that I don't want to delve into right now. We can save this for another date. But is the Oculus Rift? If that technology launches, it's gonna be great. Have you seen any videos on it, Joey?
I was actually watching one this morning from like TechFeed, I think it was called, and the guy was talking a lot about how it makes you very like dizzy when you're using it, but really the experience itself looks pretty interesting, and if I can get it for not super expensive, I may actually look into it, especially if maybe there's some support for PlayStation 4 or Xbox One built in.
I saw a pretty interesting video of it. Again, we're not going to dive into this, but I watched Surgeon Simulator, someone playing it with the Oculus Rift, which is very interesting. But so we'll move on. One thing I want to mention before we go on to our next topic is the introduction of the tablet into the console gaming. I don't know how much interviews you guys watched of E3, but a lot of the game companies are introducing the tablet. So for those massive games where you're playing with multiplayer games where you're playing with other people, and it's really important to keep that team strong, you can go in and start, like, from your tablet, help out your buddies and help out your game, and you can, like, you plan out missions and stuff for them, and the game, I'm going to look it up right now. Again, my apologies. Oh shoot, there we go. It's quite interesting actually when you watch it. But the game is called, here we go, The Division, Tom Clancy's The Division. It's gonna be more of like a shooter, it's not, I wouldn't say apocalyptic, kind of. The game takes place in New York after an infection is taken out, and there's people who are trying to protect the streets and help out the infected, and you have to work with your buddies online to, flank the enemy. But say you're going to work and you're sitting on the bus, right? But you feel bad that you couldn't help out at that raid today, so you pull out your tablet, and you can be an eye in the sky for them and heal them or damage the enemies, which is an interesting. This is one of many games that are introducing the tablet. Something I'd like to point out, but if you guys want any more interviews from E3, the Yogscast went to E3. If you go to youtube.com/Yogscast2, they did several interviews at E3, and a lot of them introduced the tablet to games. So it's something interesting I wanted to bring up.
One thing that I wanted to say about tablet gaming on consoles or PCs in general is that I'm all for introducing some cool optional stuff, okay, if you want to take down this chopper and shoot a missile at it with your tablet, you can do that instead of using it with a controller. I just don't want to give people who can afford a $500 or $600 iPad to have a better advantage in the game than people who are just playing on the normal system. So I'm all for the tablet experiences, but I want pretty much everything to both be available for use with the tablet and for use just with the stock console itself. I don't want half of multiplayer to just be an exclusive tablet experience, and then people who are just gaming on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One itself not really having that option to do that. So I just hope that they can kind of keep it balanced.
All right, and my I guess, one last thing. The big game that I'm excited for, Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know how many guys played Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2, but it's a grand old time, and they announced it, and I'm so excited. It's coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, so big game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be running Frostbite 3, and it's going to be developed by DICE, who are the people behind the Battlefield franchise. Battlefield. So in terms of Battlefront and Battlefield, they sound very much the same, but DICE has come out and said that it's not just going to be Battlefield 3 or 4 with a Star Wars skin, and they're really going to be pushing their Frostbite 3 engine to the max, and having the game just be a completely new experience for Star Wars fans. But what I really hope that they can do is something that I've always wanted to do in Star Wars, is have space battles and planet battles going on at the same time.
Ooh.
So you get in an X-Wing, you fly up in space, you can fight the Star Destroyers and stuff, but then you can come right back down on Hoth or something, and there'll be another battle just completely taking place. I think that would be really cool, and especially since DICE has that experience of air combat in Battlefield 4 and 3. I think that's definitely possible of them doing, and I think, especially with the new hardware and stuff, I could definitely see it feasible, and I really hope that they will, because that would make it just so much fun. It would be amazing.
You just made me even more excited for this game now. Alright, so the final question on the next-gen console topic. Which one are you getting, Jay Camaro?
Which one am I getting? That's a very, very easy question. I'm getting the PlayStation 4.
Go ahead.
I've already pre-ordered it. I'm getting it on launch day for Amazon.com, and I'm just completely excited. I don't think there's anything that Microsoft can really do to change my opinion on the Xbox One. I think it was a terrible business decision, and I know it's going to sell good, and I know that Microsoft is probably not people have been saying, like, oh, Microsoft has killed themselves, and now Microsoft is dead, and Sony wins the console wars. But there's going to be competition. The Xbox One is going to sell millions this holiday season, but I really don't think that there'll be any hope for me going back to Microsoft anytime soon.
Well, I've already pre-ordered my PlayStation 4 as well. Knack bundle. Getting 2 controllers, so my brother can start playing that. Quite excited.
So we've talked about current next-gen consoles, but one kind of question that I think the hundreds of millions of people that have PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360s are, what is the future of these current generation consoles? Because I know that we've been saying, like, oh my gosh, current generation consoles suck, and they have no power at all, and the experiences are just horrendous. But I think that if you have just bought an Xbox 360, because actually there was a new Xbox 360 console, it's the same hardware but just with a different look. It was made available the day after Microsoft's E3 press conference. But if you would have just bought that, I think that you could definitely expect at least 2 or 3 more years of reasonably large amount of games coming out. Like this year, I think pretty much every single game besides first party games like Knack or Killer Instinct or Forza Motorsport 5 are all coming out for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. So I think that if you didn't want to buy an next-gen console this year, and maybe even next year, because these are expensive systems, and for somebody who just bought a PlayStation 3 or something, there could definitely be a future for your consoles that you just purchased. So I think next year we'll probably also see pretty much every third-party game come to both systems, but I think the year after that, holiday 2015, is kind of the year that we're going to see the current generation consoles just kind of slide down and not have as many games come out for them. And obviously sports games are going to be the last one, because one interesting thing that I found out, FIFA 14 is going to be released on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. So 3 generations of PlayStation consoles are going to get FIFA 14 this year. So don't just throw out your Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 left. There's still a ton of exclusives. I'm really excited for Beyond Two Souls, Gran Turismo 5, and of course Grand Theft Auto 5, Batman Arkham Origins, and actually coming this summer, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. Blacklist. I think it's called that. But, so there's still some great games coming out, and I wouldn't blame anyone if they didn't want to get the next generation systems this summer, and there's still a pretty good future in these current-gen consoles.
PlayStation 3, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 coming out, the new HD remake of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. But let's not forget Kingdom Hearts 3 that is coming out for the PlayStation 4 exclusively.
I've never heard of that game, Kingdom Hearts.
Never, ever.
I've never heard of it. Is that
my.
Bad?
Yes, quite. It's a really quality game. If you have not heard of it, go ahead, look it up. Great game. But
so I think that's pretty much it in terms of the future of current generation consoles. Now let's move on to some more topics that we have on our list. We're going to talk about my PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita experiences, because last spring I purchased a PlayStation Vita, and a few weeks ago I purchased a PlayStation 3, and I'm going to be quick with this because I'm sure that these are current generation stuff, and we want to get on to the more exciting topics we have. But I think in terms of the PlayStation Vita, it's an extremely great portable. I know it has not been selling great, partly because of the price and partly because there's just not many great games out for it. But the few games that are great that are out for it are really, really good. I've played Rayman Origins, Wipeout 2048, Gravity Rush, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and Little Big Planet Vita. And these are really great games that I would definitely recommend checking them out for the PlayStation Vita. PlayStation Vita is also going to be a second screen for PlayStation 4, so as long as you're in the same Wi-Fi network as your PlayStation 4, you can remotely play them on your Vita, which actually it really reminds me of the NVIDIA Project Shield. You know, how you can stream games from Steam right onto it. It's kind of going to be like that. It's going to probably be the experience is probably going to be dependent on your Wi-Fi bandwidth, but if you have a good signal, it'll probably be worth your while to check it out on the PlayStation 4. In terms of the PlayStation 3, I've been playing The Last of Us, Uncharted, Killzone, and Gran Turismo lately, and they are really good games. The controller can feel a little weird with the triggers. I'm not a fan of the triggers, but in terms of the controller, the DualShock 3, in general, it is a really good controller. And then the graphics are amazing, and the Blu-ray player is a really good value. So, in terms of PlayStation 3, I think it's definitely a pretty good value, and there's some really good games coming out for it.
Alright, you want to go on and start ranting about your headset?
Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes. So, my Turtle Beaches, my XP400s, they broke unexpectedly like a week ago, and I'm really annoyed because they're only like a year and a half old, and they're already broken, and they're extremely expensive, and it sucks not having a gaming headset because I have to use the crappy little black Xbox mic that came with my console that barely works, and I'm not going to be going with Turtle Beaches again. I'm going to be getting Astros, and I probably should have gone with Astros. Everybody was saying, like, Joey, get Astros instead of Turtle Beaches, but I hadn't heard of Astros back then, and especially with the new A50s, it looks great, and I'm definitely considering that for my next option. But in terms of Turtle Beaches, I don't understand it. My friends had told me that their failure rate was high, but I would never expect my almost mint condition XP400 to just stop working one day. There was a loud, like, beep and then nothing, and it sucks, because you only have a 1-year warranty, too, so.
Now, for myself, I obviously I didn't play much Xbox, or I will be playing PlayStation once I get it, but I'm more of a PC gamer, and I used to use my Alienware headset. Worked great until I stepped on it. But the current headset I'm using right now to talk to all you guys is a Logitech headset, which has been great, actually, except for this buzzing in my ear I gotta figure out, but that's about it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jake, what can you give me 2 YouTube channels that you'd like to recommend for those out there?
Oh gosh, YouTube channels? Okay, I would recommend Xbox Ahoy. He's amazing. He does Call of Duty Black Ops 2 weapon guides, but he also has a secret channel where he does Q&A videos every week, and he's British, and he's extremely professional, and I love watching all his videos. Secondly, I would watch Luton09. He's really good. He's also British. He creates a lot of Battlefield 3 videos on his PlayStation 3, and he's also extremely professional, and he's given me some advice on my my iMovie setup in the past. So definitely go subscribe to him. He's been posting a lot of videos about Battlefield 4, like preparing for Battlefield 4, and both those channels are really good, and I would definitely recommend checking them out.
As for myself, I have 2 to recommend. I'm going to the British accent now that you said that. I would like to recommend, the first one I would like to make, of course, is the Yogscast. I have been watching lots of the Yogscast, but I'm going to recommend 3, because I mentioned the Yogscast in the last 2 ones. But I would like to recommend the Yogscast, all their whole channels, all their channels there. Nerdcubed, he's hilarious. Oh my gosh, he makes the most boring games fun. So I'll put that in the link to the description as well. And my last one is the Achievement Hunter Let's Plays from the Rooster Teeth company. Watch their GTA stuff. It's great. So all that will be in the description if you guys want that. Check it out.
Okay. So I think we should probably move on and talk about the Steam Summer Sale.
Yay!
Because that's always big, and I haven't really been participating in the Summer Sale for the past few years because I have a Mac, and Macs kind of are not great in terms of gaming, but I was actually able to dual boot to Windows 7 this past spring. So I've been playing some games like Battlefield 3 and SimCity on Windows on my Mac, I guess. So I've been purchasing quite a few games from the Steam Summer Sale. Actually, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna list off the ones that have interested me.
Hey, go right ahead.
All right, let me just go to my library. Okay, so so I've actually gotten quite a few games. Battlefield Bad Company 2 I picked up for about 75% off, extremely cheap and really good game. Grand Theft Auto 4, I got that. I actually have it for the Xbox 360, but like you said earlier, I really wanted to check out all the mods for it because I hear that they're amazing. So I'll definitely be modding that game. I actually found, I forget the name of it, but it's like this police simulator, and it's like a fully featured one where you can be like a state trooper or like a SWAT guy and just go around like pulling people over. Sometimes they put a gun on you, sometimes you do like police raids and respond to calls and stuff. It's really fun.
I am surprised how popular simulators are right now.
They are really big.
Oh my gosh. Alright, a few games I've been looking at. Not a lot. I'm kind of waiting for Civ 5 to go back on sale, and I'm not planning to get much, but The Sims 3 was on sale, if you guys are into that. Kerbal Space Program, that is an awesome game. And for a game that's just an alpha, it is so awesome. So I recommend you guys check that out. Let's see what games I have here. Last year, I got Sanctum and Trine, which was nice, interesting games to play. That's about it. The thing I love about Steam is that they do this. And the amount of money, like the money they must make, but it's just great. Like how awesome. So you can get these games that maybe you would not have thought about. Like for example, right now, Alan Wake. I have it on my Xbox. It came with my Xbox, but it is usually a $20 game. It's on sale for right now for $3. So the kind of prices that you can get at this on the Steam Summer Sale is phenomenal.
I also want to mention the bundles, because if you bundle stuff, it can be extremely cheap. Like, for example, you can get all of the Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is like a GTA-type Hong Kong, like, open-world game. You can get over $100 of downloadable content for less than $15 now. And then a game like Alan Wake, like you said, it's $2.99. For $3.99, you can also bundle both the collector's edition extras of Alan Wake and the sequel, Alan Wake's American Nightmare. That's like that's a little bit less than 3 songs on iTunes. So,
welcome to capitalism, my fellow Americans.
Not hating on Apple or anything. I'm just saying that it's extremely a good value, because I love Apple. I'm a Mac. I'm trying to game on it.
You should. I see, guys. I run my Alienware and I love it. So Jay Camaro is going to start talking about some 4K technology here.
Yeah. So 4K technology. I don't know if you've heard of it, but right now I don't know if you've heard of the iPhone. And with the iPhone 4...
Oh, no. Have you heard of the iPhone, my dear fellow Americans?
No, I've never heard of it. It's like a phone made by this one company that like is extremely popular. But, so with the iPhone 4, Apple did something called the Retina display. And with the iPhone 3GS to the iPhone 4, they doubled the amount of pixels in the same screen. So you've got 4 times more pixels, double the pixel density. So things just look a lot more higher res and stuff. But they've been kind of doing that now with larger TVs. So if you aren't familiar right now, kind of 1920 by 1080 or 1080p is kind of the medium for features now. Yeah, some smaller TVs are 720p, but most of the time, if you go out and buy a TV right now, it's going to be 1080p. And that's been a very good standard for many years now. But one thing that they've been showing off at the Consumer Electronics Show the past 2 years are 4K TVs. So 4K, it's like 1920, but it's 4000 by 2000. So the TVs just look amazing. And one interesting thing is that unlike, say, a computer where the bigger screen you get, the better amount, and the higher amount of pixels. Like if you get a 21-inch iMac, it's 1920 by 1080. If you get a 27-inch iMac, it's 2550 by 1440. So the resolution grows as the display grows, but that isn't true with TVs. So if you get like an 85-inch TV, the pixels are going to look very big because it's just the same pixel density that are sometimes on like 25-inch desk TVs. So this is a huge thing for larger TVs. But the only problem with this is I know it sounds amazing, but right now, the cheapest TV that's out there by an actual well-known company is just over $6,000. So it's an extremely expensive technology that's out right now. But I think as the technology grows and more people adopt it, there's going to be a lot more TVs on the market that are a lot cheaper. And one interesting thing is actually Sony has just come out with a media player to be able to, play 4K movies, because most Blu-ray players can only do 1080p, so you need specialty Blu-ray players to play 4K, and it's actually currently on Amazon for just under $700. So that's almost 2 PlayStation 4s for a Blu-ray player. So, of course, actually the PlayStation 4 has been announced that it will be able to play 4K movies, but right now, it's just a very expensive hobby. And then movies themselves, there haven't really been that many movies recorded in 4K since it hasn't been a very big medium. So currently right now, The Hobbit I know is filmed in 4K. But that actually has not been released on 4K yet, but Sony has been coming out with these things called mastered for 4K. So they're 1080p, but they're kind of like upscaled, but they're not. They're like better, but not like truly as good as it would get if it was actually filmed with a 4K camera. But so those movies can cost upwards of $30 just for one film. So, like I said, extremely expensive. But here's the question: is it worth it? Like, Daking, you've used like 1080p televisions. Do you think when you look at a TV that's out right now, do you think like, okay, this is extremely low resolution and everything's so like pixelated and stuff?
Now let me give you guys an example here. Okay, before I answer this question, as I will, I promise, I'm obviously going to answer this. Let me give you some perspective. Right now, you can watch the highest resolution video on YouTube at 1080p, right? You can also get a TV 1080p. These 4K TVs will be 2160, 2160p. Just putting it into perspective. So just think about that. But I'm going to have to say that I think it is worth it. I remember a couple years ago, my grandfather got this huge, flat screen TV, 1080p, beautiful resolution. And I'm like, oh wow, it was expensive back then, but now a lot of people have them, right? It's as anything else that's introduced to the market. It may start out expensive, but eventually it's going to be more and more common, right? Kind of an obscure example, but think about, cell phones, right? Not a lot of people had cell phones back in the day, and not a lot of people have iPhones because they were so expensive. But now, everyone has them. So I feel like it just has to be introduced to the market at a high price, but as more and more people start buying them, they can lower the price. So I think that's my opinion on it, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I found a link from a website called Tested.com. I'm going to put that in the description for you guys as well, and you guys can read an article about it. That's what I read before we discussed, and might give you more of a good, view on it. So, now we are going to talk about. Here we go. Recommended we're going to do this new thing called recommended indie title of the. I say week, I say day, I say month.
Biannual. Every 6 months do a podcast.
Recommended indie title of the podcast. Whatever the next one may be. But,
we really just, text each other on Facebook and hey, you want to do the talk? Sure. And then
this is a long process to get this set up. Yeah. But, well, my recommended title, I got it on the Xbox store, arcade store today. Or not, is it arcade? No, I think it just might be the regular store. Or not today. I got it a couple days ago, and I've been playing with my brother and my uncle. And it's called Hidden in Plain Sight. It is 80 Microsoft points. And it comes with 5 little mini games. And the whole point of the game is that you start out not knowing who you are. And you obviously don't know who anybody else is, because there's a bunch of people on the screen, right? They all look the same, some look different sometimes. But you don't know who you are. So your first goal is to figure out who you are. Now, there's 5 different minigames. The first one is called Ninjas. There's 2 ways to win this one. Either you touch all 5 statues, which once you do, it makes a dinging noise. Or you kill the other people. So, you walk, first the objective is to figure out who you are. Then you have to start walking around, and you can tell if, say, someone walks over a statue, it makes a ding noise. And, the player. So you can tell, that's a player, I'm going to start following them, and you can kill them. But once you kill them, then another person will know who you are. So it's more fun that way. It's more of a party game. But if you guys are looking for a fun party game to play with your friends at a sleepover or something, I highly recommend it. It is called Hidden in Plain Sight, and it's 80 Microsoft points. So go check that out.
Yeah, that's one interesting part about the Xbox 360 is the whole indie game things, and apparently they're going to be getting rid of that with the Xbox One. So
yeah, we have mentioned that before. Yeah.
So
sad,
if you think it's going to be the same amount of indie content on the Xbox 360 on the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, you're wrong, because it's going to be a lot less. But so the game that I'm going to recommend, I know there's really no point in me even mentioning this game because I'm sure everybody's heard of it, but it's called Limbo, and it was released on the Xbox 360 a few years ago, and it's been slowly expanding to pretty much every system known to man. like iOS, Android, and now PlayStation Vita, which is the version that I got. I actually got it with their cross-buy promotion. That's a great thing about PlayStation 3. So some Vita games, if you actually purchase them for Vita, you'll also get the PlayStation 3 counterpart absolutely free. So that's nice. So for $15, I got both versions, and I've been playing it on my Vita, and it's just a phenomenal game. It's short, I've heard, but it's the art styling is just beautiful, although it's only in black and white, and it's not that much like art. It's not like Killzone where there's just like tons of colors and stuff. It's just like a different kind of beautiful. But just the gameplay is very simple, but very challenging. You really got to think, like, okay, how am I going to do this? Especially since you have very few controls. You like have jump, action, and move. That's pretty much it. But it's enough to just give me one of the best games that I've played in the car so far. And I'm going up to Charlevoix, this place up in the upper area of Michigan, next the Saturday, and I'll definitely be playing that game and hopefully beating it on the car ride. So
and for all those PC gamers out there, watch Steam for the Steam sale. It's $10 on Steam right now, but I bet you by the end of the month or end of the sale, it'll be on sale. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, one tip if you're buying stuff on the Steam summer sale is that if you see something for like 25% off or something, I know it looks like a good price, but most of the time things are discounted even more as like flash sales, like and daily deals and community choice stuff. So I would definitely wait a couple days and it'll be discounted just a lot more.
So yeah, now if you guys remember our last podcast, which is like February?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember that. The winner to our trivia question, which was name 3 main characters in Assassin's Creed. The winner who got it, the first person who got it right.
The only person who got it right. The only one who commented.
Hey, let's just make him think he's special, alright? His name is the Ranger 995. So, congratulations. Yay! I wish we had some music. I'll get a party popper next time and I'll pop it like... There we go.
Are we going to talk about, like, prize stuff right now, like you told me about earlier?
How about this one? Because it goes with this game.
Okay.
But I feel like... Okay.
Congratulations, you've run Assassin's Creed 2 free on Xbox 360.
No, we're joking.
Yes.
No, the Ranger 995, if you get this one right, again, we'll get you another... We'll think about it.
We'll get you a better prize.
We'll send you something, alright? Because you know Jay Camaro, so, well...
Yeah.
He'll get you a cookie or something.
Yeah.
Now, this week's trivia question, which has a great prize.
Yeah.
What are the names of the 4 cores on GLADOS at the end of Portal 1? I'm going to repeat that again. What are the names of the 4 cores on GLADOS at the end of Portal 1? The first person who gets this right will receive a free copy of Portal 2 on Steam. So, when you guys enter this into the comments below, put your answer and put your Steam name there, and if you're the first one, we'll send you that game. And if you don't want that, we'll think of something else. We'll give you a high five, all right, virtually.
High five.
Yeah, but if you don't have Portal 2 yet, there you go. And I'll put the question down in the description if you forget it. So, yep, there you go.
That's pretty much it for DaTalk episode number 3. Do you have any?
Want to address the final question?
Oh yeah. Questioned audience. I did not see that.
3 claps for Jay Camaro, though.
We're not done with you guys just yet.
Oh, you want to answer it, or do you want to ask it?
Sure, I'll do it. Okay. If we were to do a Let's Play, what games do you guys want? Because now, of course, that I have Windows 7 and we both have Xbox 360s and stuff, we're able to do a lot of Let's Plays. So what game do you want us to do? I'm pretty much a game in every genre, and I could probably purchase some games on Steam and stuff because I love Steam, especially with these summer sales. But what do you guys want? Let us know in the comments, and we may consider actually doing it.
Hey, I have a great idea for you guys to recommend. Portal 2. Considering we both bought it, and Jay Camaro bought extra.
Yeah, I thought I clicked the button to do the bundle, like for Portal 2 and Portal 1, and that's like, congratulations, I have 2 copies of Portal 2. So
but we have Portal 2 coming up everywhere. So you guys want to recommend that game, go right ahead. But honestly, I'm up for anything. We could play some like Castle Crashers or something on Xbox. Oh, that's good. Oh, I have that. I have to figure out my Xbox, but once we figure that out, just put it in the description, guys. We'll play them. But I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for joining us, and like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want to listen to us more. Don't expect another one of these podcasts for many months down the road.
We'll make another one next weekend.
Oh yeah, let's bet on that. Yeah, sure, definitely.
You guys know our schedule.
Yeah. Well,
but honestly, if you guys are waiting for DaTalk, which I know everyone is, because it's like the
so
most
popular. Yeah, I know.
Go check out Jay Kamara's channel. He's got some really cool unboxing stuff. He got some really cool Let's Plays, and go check it out. And yeah, if you get bored with that, which I doubt you will, there's other stuff in the description we put there for you guys to check out. So
yeah.
I'm signing off. I don't even remember what my sign off is.
Oh gosh, it was. I don't remember. Yeah, mine is like. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. But
yeah, this is the King signing off. Beep bop, beep dop dop. I'm gonna remember that next time.
There you go. Remember my crappy one, like Long Live Gaming that we had? Yeah.
Now we're just ranting.
Yeah.
Bye, peoples.
All right. See you guys later. Peace out.
Beep bop.